Have you ever done everything right? You swapped the chips for salads. You traded takeout for home-cooked meals. Maybe you even started every morning with a fresh green smoothie. Spinach, avocado, maybe some kale. Because that's what every wellness account, every health coach, every clean eating plan tells you to do. Now imagine sitting across from your doctor, hearing that your kidney health is failing. Not because of fast food, not because of soda, but because of the healthy habits you've been building for years. That conversation is happening in doctors' offices right now. And the patients most blindsided by it aren't the ones with bad diets. They're the health-conscious adults, the ones with the green smoothies, the superfoods, the carefully curated meal plans, who had no idea they were slowly overloading the two organs responsible for keeping them alive.
Here's what makes this even more alarming. There's a hormone your kidneys produce called FGF23. You've probably never heard of it. Most people's doctors have never mentioned it. But research published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology shows that when this single hormone surges, your risk of kidney failure and cardiovascular death rises dramatically, often years before a single symptom appears. And one of the vegetables I'm about to reveal, a food that millions of people are adding to their morning routine right now, thinking they're doing their body a favor, is directly triggering dangerous FGF23 spikes in the body. I'll show you exactly which vegetable it is. I'll explain the science in plain English. And more importantly, I'll show you the foods that actually reverse this damage, the ones proven by clinical research to protect your kidneys and your heart at the same time. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn might be the single most important thing you've ever done for your long-term health.
Here's the terrifying reality about kidney disease. By the time you feel it, the swelling, the fatigue, the shortness of breath, your kidneys may have already lost 60, 70, even 90% of their function. They don't send pain signals. They don't raise alarms. They just quietly fail, one filtered cup of blood at a time. Right now, 1 in 3 American adults is at risk for chronic kidney disease, and the majority of them have absolutely no idea. But here's what most people miss entirely. Your kidneys and your heart are locked in a silent partnership. When kidney function declines, blood pressure rises. When blood pressure rises, your heart works harder. And when the heart strains, less oxygen-rich blood reaches the kidneys, which accelerates their failure even further. It's a slow spiral that begins years before any lab result catches it. Today, we're going to break that spiral. We're covering 3 vegetables that are quietly accelerating this damage, including one that the entire wellness industry calls a superfood. And then we're covering 3 vegetables that clinical science has proven can actively restore kidney function, lower blood pressure, and protect your heart simultaneously. Let's start with the one that surprised me most.
If you're adding spinach to your morning smoothie, I need you to hear this very carefully. Spinach has one of the best reputations in nutrition. Iron, folate, antioxidants, it reads like a nutritional hall of fame. And for a person with perfectly functioning kidneys, it can genuinely be a valuable food. But for anyone over 50, especially anyone with slightly elevated creatinine, early high blood pressure, or even a family history of kidney disease, that daily spinach smoothie may be accelerating the very decline it's supposed to prevent. Here's why. Spinach is one of the most phosphorus-dense and oxalate-dense foods in the plant kingdom. 1 cup of raw spinach contains approximately 49 milligrams of phosphorus. But most smoothie recipes call for 3 to 4 cups. That means before breakfast, you're consuming 150 to 200 milligrams of phosphorus in a single drink. And this is where FGF23 enters the picture.
FGF23, or fibroblast growth factor 23, is a hormone released by your bone cells in direct response to elevated phosphate in your bloodstream. In perfectly healthy kidneys, it signals the kidneys to excrete the excess. That system works beautifully until kidney function begins to decline. The moment filtration slows even slightly, FGF23 doesn't just rise, it surges. And researchers at the University of California found that elevated FGF23 levels are independently associated with a 50% higher risk of cardiovascular death and accelerated kidney failure, even when standard blood markers look perfectly normal. This is the hidden alarm system. It can be screaming years before your creatinine or eGFR shows a problem on a routine blood test. And that's only half of spinach's threat. Oxalic acid, present in extremely high concentrations in spinach, binds with calcium in your bloodstream to form calcium oxalate crystals. These aren't gentle. They're microscopic, jagged particles that physically scrape against your kidney's delicate filtration tubes and cause silent cumulative scarring. Studies documented in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology describe patients developing sudden kidney injury after just a few weeks of daily high oxalate smoothies. Every single one believed they were eating clean.
I want to be clear. Spinach isn't poison for a healthy person. But if your kidneys are under any stress at all, the practical fix is this. Replace raw blended spinach with lower oxalate greens. Romaine, arugula, and green leaf lettuce give you vitamins and minerals without the phosphate load or oxalate scraping. If you love spinach, cook it. Cooking reduces oxalate content by approximately 50%, and keep portions to half a cup maximum per day. Think of it this way. You would never pour sand into a water filter. That's exactly what concentrated oxalates do to your kidneys, one smoothie at a time. Now, let's talk about the food that has been celebrated more aggressively than almost anything else in modern nutrition. Avocado. Heart-healthy fats. Anti-inflammatory. A staple on every clean-eating, kidney-friendly meal plan you'll find online. And I understand the instinct. For someone with perfectly functioning kidneys and normal blood pressure, avocado does offer real benefits. The monounsaturated fats reduce LDL cholesterol. The fiber is genuine. The anti-inflammatory properties are documented. But here's the number that nobody in the wellness industry wants to discuss. One medium avocado contains approximately 975 milligrams of potassium. That is more potassium than 2.5 cups of tomato sauce. Potassium is essential for heart function. Your heart literally cannot beat without it. But when your kidneys can't efficiently filter and excrete excess potassium, which happens even in early-stage chronic kidney disease, it accumulates in the bloodstream. The medical term is hyperkalemia. At levels above 6.0 millimoles per liter, your heart's electrical system begins to malfunction. Rhythm becomes irregular, muscles weaken. And without any warning, the very food you chose to protect your heart becomes the thing most threatening to stop it.
Here's a story that illustrates exactly how this happens. A 63-year-old woman, we'll call her Margaret, had mildly elevated creatinine. She was careful. She cut red meat, she eliminated processed sugar, she added avocado to her lunch every day because her nutritionist recommended it as a heart-healthy fat. Over 4 months, her potassium climbed from 4.8 to 5.9 millimoles per liter. Her cardiologist flagged a dangerous cardiac arrhythmia. When her medical team traced it back, the daily avocado was the single biggest dietary change. One food, 4 months, a near cardiac crisis. What makes avocado particularly deceptive in the context of a renal diet is this. Its potassium doesn't announce itself. When every health influencer promotes it for longevity, when every package says heart healthy, the last thing you expect is that it's placing increasing strain on your kidneys every single time you eat it. The practical fix? If your kidneys are under any stress, even subclinical, even just slightly elevated creatinine, limit avocado to no more than 1/8 of a medium avocado per meal, no more than 3 times per week. For healthy fats, replace it with drizzled olive oil, unsalted seeds, or cucumber slices. Same satisfaction, dramatically lower potassium burden. The lesson: heart healthy and kidney safe are not the same thing. And because your heart and kidneys are partners, anything that overloads one will eventually pull the other down with it.
Sweet potato has almost universal approval in health spaces. It appears in diabetes-friendly cookbooks, fitness meal plans, and even on some kidney-supportive diet guides. Coaches call it the clean carb. Parents serve it as a first food for babies. Its reputation is so pristine that even specialists sometimes overlook its risk. Here's the reality. One medium-baked sweet potato contains approximately 950 milligrams of potassium. That is nearly your entire daily potassium allowance if your kidney function is compromised. Add a small portion at breakfast, a roasted serving at lunch, and sweet potato soup at dinner. Entirely normal on a healthy eating plan, and you've consumed over 2,400 milligrams of potassium before touching anything else that day.
What makes sweet potato more dangerous than regular potato for someone managing kidney disease is what happens when you bake it. Baking breaks down resistant starch, causing a faster blood glucose spike than boiling or steaming. For anyone managing diabetes or prediabetes alongside kidney disease, that glucose spike compounds the filtration load. High blood glucose causes the tiny blood vessels inside the kidney's filtration units, the glomeruli, to stiffen and scar. Over time, those scarred filters simply stop working. A study in the Journal of Renal Nutrition found that adults with stage 2 and stage 3 kidney disease who consumed more than 500 milligrams of potassium at a single meal had measurably higher creatinine levels 12 weeks later compared to those who kept each meal under 300 milligrams. The solution is not to eliminate sweet potato forever. It's the leaching technique. Peel your sweet potato, slice it thin, soak it in cold water for at least 4 hours, ideally overnight, then boil it in fresh water rather than baking it. This process can remove approximately 50 to 70% of its potassium content, and keep your portion to a quarter cup per serving. Your kidneys don't fail from one bad meal. They fail from the accumulation of small, well-intentioned choices that nobody ever connected into a pattern. Now you can see the pattern, and now you can change it.
If you're still here, you're already ahead of most people, because most people never connect these dots until it's too late. Save this video now so you can come back to these numbers when you're building your meals, and hit subscribe if you haven't. Next week, we're revealing the morning habits that silently damage kidney function while you sleep. You won't want to miss that. Now, let's talk about what actually heals. After 3 foods that betray your trust, let me give your kidneys something they've been starving for. Cabbage doesn't get invited to the superfood conversation. It doesn't have influencer endorsements or a premium price tag. But inside every leaf of this ordinary, affordable vegetable is a concentration of compounds that may be more protective for kidney health than almost anything else in your produce section. 1 cup of cooked cabbage contains just 154 milligrams of potassium. Compare that to 975 milligrams in an avocado or 950 milligrams in a sweet potato. For anyone following a renal diet or managing chronic kidney disease, cabbage gives you volume, fiber, and genuine nutrition without overloading the minerals your kidneys cannot process. But the real story is what cabbage does at a molecular level. Cabbage belongs to the cruciferous family: broccoli, Brussels sprouts, kale. It's rich in glucosinolates and indole-3 carbinol, compounds that directly reduce oxidative stress inside kidney tissue. A study in the Journal of Renal Nutrition found that patients with chronic kidney disease who increased their cruciferous vegetable intake showed significant reductions in urinary creatinine biomarkers of kidney damage over a 12-week period. In simpler terms, cabbage helps the kidney's filtering units recover, not just survive. Beyond kidneys, cabbage's vitamin K content and natural fiber work together to reduce arterial stiffness, directly supporting the heart side of the kidney-heart partnership we've been discussing throughout this video. Lower arterial stiffness means lower blood pressure. Lower blood pressure means less strain on the glomeruli. Less strain means longer-lasting kidney function. Replace starchy vegetable sides, rice, potatoes, pasta, with roasted or steamed cabbage 3 to 4 times per week. Stir-fry it with garlic and olive oil. Add it raw to salads for crunch. It is versatile, inexpensive, and backed by more clinical evidence for kidney disease management than most supplements on the market. Your kidneys don't need expensive interventions. They need consistency. Cabbage, 3 times a week, is one of the most consistent tools you have.
Red bell pepper sits at the exact intersection of the 2 organs we've been discussing throughout this entire video. And I want you to pay close attention here, because this is where the best diet for kidney disease and the best diet for your heart become the same thing. 1 cup of sliced red bell pepper contains approximately 250 milligrams of potassium, a quarter of what's hiding in a single avocado. Safe for daily consumption, even on a closely managed kidney disease diet plan. But what makes red bell pepper exceptional isn't just its low potassium, it's what it's loaded with. Lycopene, beta-carotene, vitamin C, and flavonoids. Antioxidants that have been demonstrated in multiple clinical trials to directly reduce oxidative stress on kidney cells. Here's the dual organ mechanism. Lycopene, the pigment that makes red bell peppers red, reduces LDL cholesterol oxidation, which means less arterial plaque building in the blood vessels supplying your kidneys. When those arteries stay clean and flexible, your kidneys receive consistent, high-quality blood flow. Better blood flow equals better filtration. Better filtration equals lower creatinine and slower functional decline. Research from the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that patients with chronic kidney disease who consumed diets rich in colorful lycopene-containing vegetables had measurably slower rates of kidney decline over a 5-year period compared to matched control groups. And red bell pepper contains nearly 3 times the vitamin C of an orange by weight. Vitamin C has been shown in clinical studies to reduce urinary protein loss in kidney patients, one of the most meaningful protective markers available. Roast them until the edges caramelize. Slice them raw into salads. Use them as the base for a kidney-safe sauce instead of tomato paste. Every bite supports your kidneys and your heart simultaneously. That's the dual organ payoff your body has been waiting for. The last healing food on this list gets almost no attention in conversations about kidney-friendly foods. It's so ordinary that most people slice it up without a second thought. But new research is positioning it as one of the most clinically validated natural tools available for protecting both kidney function and cardiovascular health at the same time. Onion. Specifically, the compound quercetin it contains. Quercetin is a flavonoid, a class of plant pigments responsible for some of the deepest anti-inflammatory properties found in the food supply. And in terms of what it does in a body managing chronic kidney disease, it works on 3 fronts simultaneously. First, inflammation. Chronic inflammation inside kidney tissue, driven by oxidative stress, elevated blood pressure, and glucose damage, is one of the primary drivers of irreversible kidney scarring. Studies published in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences show that quercetin directly inhibits the NF-kappa B molecular pathway, the specific signaling chain that drives kidney inflammation, reducing tissue damage at the cellular level. Second, blood pressure. Quercetin has been shown in clinical trials to lower systolic blood pressure by an average of 4 to 7 millimeters of mercury in adults with hypertension. That may sound modest, but for the kidney's million nephrons per organ, even a 5-point reduction in systolic pressure translates to measurably less daily filtration strain. Over months and years, that difference is enormous. Third, And most practically, onion is one of the lowest potassium vegetables you can cook with. 1 full cup of raw onion contains just 234 milligrams of potassium, even safer than red bell pepper. It's an ideal daily cooking staple for anyone following a renal diet or working toward the best diet for kidney disease their doctor has recommended.
The practical takeaway is nearly embarrassingly simple. Cook with onion every single day. Build it into soups, stir-fries, omelets, and grain bowls. Use yellow onion for cooking. It contains the highest quercetin concentration of all onion varieties. And here's one specific technique that maximizes the benefit. Chop your onions at least 10 minutes before cooking them. That brief exposure to air activates an enzyme conversion that increases quercetin bioavailability by approximately 30%. You don't need an expensive supplement protocol to protect your kidneys. Sometimes the most powerful medicine costs $1.50 at the grocery store.
Your kidneys have been working for you every single minute of every single day, without recognition, without complaint, and without rest. The difference between a lifetime of energy and the slow, silent failure of kidney disease is rarely one catastrophic choice. It's the pattern. The daily smoothie packed with spinach and avocado, the sweet potato side dish that felt clean and safe, the superfoods that were quietly overloading a system that never complained until it was almost too late. Now you know which patterns to break. And more importantly, you know which ones to build instead. Save this video. Share it with someone you love who thinks they're eating healthy. And subscribe. Because every week on this channel, we reveal the science-backed truths about healthy aging that most people only discover after the damage has already been done. Your kidneys may be silent, but they're listening to every choice you make. Make them count.